enough said. This is the palette we're using today. I want to do a few different looks. I have a couple ideas, but today we are going to stay with the mints, and I think we're going to go a little graphic. I'm going to need you to trust the process. And we're going to use two different eyeshadow bases. This is not, I'm just going to say it, I'm not trying to say this is a simple look. This is just one of my artistic looks that I need to do. These actually help me help you later because there's just so many different levels to these and I figure things out. In fact, I feel like one of the reasons I'm able to help y'all is because I do really wild looks on top of my very wearable looks. So if you're thinking, whoa, what's going on? This is way too much. Remember, I do looks for everyone. Now let's grab this. And I'm just gonna put this, notice that I'm going above my lid, just kind of going through there. And we only need a little bit of it because one of the shades I want to use here, I still want my skin tone to peek through. So I don't want to use one of the very opaque bases that I always use. We will in a second, but let's start on the crease. And I'm just going to smooth that, remember, from. So let me tell you about bases. I've talked about this quite a bit and I'm going to do an actual video on it, but I want my skin tone to come through. So I'm using a base that is completely clear, completely see-through. Oh my gosh, Jean is just, oh, we're up here, baby. Oh, it's horrifying. Terrible things have happened. And by terrible things, I have moved to the upstairs instead of the downstairs. So what's going to happen here is my actual undertone is going to be able to peek through and it's going to absolutely transform that shadow and make it more of my undertone. Seeing as if I use a white base, that blanks everything out. And the way that you see the colors in the palette is how they're going to show up. We are going to use a white eye base, but we're only going to use it on our lid and kind of just create shapes with it. I'm so excited. But that's what you're seeing when I'm using these different color bases. Now let's grab an E28 and I'm going to start. I don't know how dark this shade is. I like this one. Here's a really good idea, visual for you. You can see this one has just a touch more yellow and this one's a little touch more gray cool. Let's grab that. It's important you see how much I grabbed and notice that it's only on the one side of the brush, not on the tip of the brush, just on the one side. And from here, we can always clean it up later, but I'm just gonna press this. And I just want a little bit of cool tone through the crease. So cool, right? How you can still see my skin through it. I love makeup. I'm picking up more of that same shade. And I'm just gonna press it over this way and back over this way. Now let's grab some micellar water. I always recommend the pink cap because I know that once it dries, makeup can go right back on top. I've had zero issues with it. So we're gonna pick that up on our C30. And I will say, probably one of the sharpest concealer detail brushes I've ever seen. And I'm just gonna clean this up, make sure none of that other base is here on my lid. Jean, literally no one wants to hear you grooming. I will put a stop to that, you little gremlin. So right now you're not gonna see much of a difference, but that's where our white base is gonna come in. And then we're gonna put the mint on top. And then we're all gonna stand back and be like, ooh, ah. Now we're gonna take our C30 and we're just gonna dry it off on Sheila. Even though that's a liquid, it's pretty much dry now. The brushes just don't absorb product because I don't have time for all that. That was a huge factor for me because I do a lot of really intricate looks. I don't have time to wait for the brush to dry. And think about it in the morning. It even really transfers to someone getting ready at 6 a.m. in a hurry. We don't have time for brushes to dry down. So let's grab our white base, clean canvas, and I want to show you this only because I want you to see that, ooh, there you go, that's actually too much for what I'm about to do. So I'm just going to put it here so we can come back and grab it in a second. That looks perfect. Now it's nice and even. You can see it there. And I'm just going to take this and I'm going to completely relax my eye. Why am I way back here? Now, hang on. We're just going to completely relax our eye. Forgot to tag the eyeshadow base I'm using right now, but I'll tag it here, and I want you to see that I'm gonna take it over this way. Gene! Hey, Benny! What? Can you come tell Gene to stop his groom-a-loom? He's a bit much today. Okay, Ben came and took him to his office so he can finish his bath. So now, I'm trying to decide how far up I want to take it.
He's leaving.
He's coming back. He's unsatisfied. I think I'll take it. See, even if I take it just a little bit, I'm still taking it out of my natural fold here. And I feel like a lot of times that's what we struggle with when it comes to hooded eyes, is figuring out where to go over that fold. I just see a little kitty cat floating around in my room.
He's wild.
He's wild. So I decided I'm going to take it out of my crease, my natural crease, just a little bit. I don't want to bring it up too high. And I feel that we forget that when we're doing detail work, I'm grabbing a little bit more. When we're doing detail work like this, we even forget to leave our eye open. But I feel like we also forget that we can kind of tilt our head back and we can look to the side, and you're able to see it from different angles, and it makes it so much easier. So don't forget about that. Now Gene's purring. It's a whole Gene escapade today. There we go. Well, I'm gonna perfect it, but y'all get the rest of it. I'm not leaving it like that. I feel like this is a very easy cut crease. I did want to show you how I finish it here. Then you just connect. I'm connecting from my bottom lash line. If we want to clean it up later, we can, but this is really, really, really easy. And then if we're gonna get our lift, we need to bring this up. And basically just think of it as a wing. But it's gonna be a lot easier because you're using white instead of black to trace this. Fun. Now the next thing that's so crucial with this type of eyeshadow base, and especially white eyeshadow base, I want you to make sure that it is completely even across the lid. No creases. See that little patch there? Just go over it and make sure that it looks so smooth. It really helps with how smooth the eyeshadow goes on, and it really helps with how it wears. You won't have creasing and your eyeshadow wears so much longer. Now I'm gonna start with an E28 just to pack the color on, but we're gonna have to switch. Ooh, I'm so excited. We're gonna have to switch here in a second for precision, but let's go ahead and just press this one in the center. Do y'all have on your makeup seatbelts? I love it so much. This is probably my favorite color right here. Let's do the same thing over here, but like I said, let's make sure it's nice and even. And then we'll grab that same color on the same E28. Go ahead and set the center. Really press it in to the base. Oh, this is delightful. Just now, let's wipe our brush off just ever so lightly. Just wiping it on Sheila. And I'm gonna grab this shade, and this is gonna be on the outer part. Again, we're gonna have to switch brushes, but we'll get there. And then I'm gonna use a shimmer over here, but put on your makeup seatbelts for that. But I'm gonna have to switch brushes in just a second. But let's get most of this set. That's the important part. Wonderful. Now switch to an E27. Ah, there we go. Sheila was trying to run away. And I'm gonna go back into this shade, and now we're gonna start to take it up higher. There we go. Now we have the more control so we don't mix it into the transition color. Same thing over here. So I decided I want this shimmer to cascade onto the matte mint. So I'm taking this one, the first one we started with. I'm taking that, and I'm just gonna go ahead and set it all the way over this way. Still using the side of my brush to do this. Let me show you something really quickly. I'm going to take the mint color that we're using, and I'm going to show you what it looks like more on just my skin tone compared to the white base, and why it's so important. I'm going to layer it up a little bit more. Even that, it's so important if you want colors to be true, to use bases that lend themselves to that. White is just going to make everything show up in its truest form. And as I do this, I realize that not a lot of artists talk about that and how important it is. But that's what I'm here for. Now let's switch over to the darker shade, and then we'll finish filling in this little tail situation over here. I'm trying to be a little bit more precise in the crease area, but once we come over here, don't worry about it because we can clean that up. So all that right there, that's never an issue. Just really pack it on. So we're gonna get to the fun part, which is the Shimmer Cascade, but let's clean this up first. We're gonna use our same C30 that we used for eyeshadow base and just start to clean this up. So I normally don't tell y'all what I do. I like to be helpful and just stay helpful. Oversharing sometimes isn't as helpful. But I am gonna go eat at my favorite restaurant tonight with Benny and Mama and Dougie. There's an outdoor area, so Dougie can go with us. But I'm super excited. Just like a wild, what day is it? It's a wild Wednesday, just out of control, going out to eat. I'm so excited. But I will say Rosie Cannonball is probably my favorite restaurant in Houston. I love it. If you're in Houston, check it out. Now grab your C30, the one that we just used to clean up, and grab your Sheila. I'm just drying it off, making sure that it's not wet. That's absolutely perfect. Now, are we ready? Ooh, let's grab this shade. Grab it there. Yay. And then I'm gonna start here. I barely tapped that. I'm so excited. And then I want it to kind of feather and cascade into our matte. I'm gonna pick up more. So pretty. So I'm gonna grab the E27 now, and I'm just kind of softening it. Always pulling very lightly, holding it very far back so I have lighter pressure, just to kind of bring it over this way. Do y'all want to be extra for absolutely no reason? I figured. So grab an E26. This is not just a liner brush, it's a lip brush, it's a detail work brush. We're gonna grab that first shade that we started with. I'm gonna tilt my head back a little, and I'm just going to bring this on top of the mint just to really define it more. And once we take this all the way across, it's actually gonna make quite a bit of difference in making all of this pop more. It's subtle, but it's spicy. See that? Build that up a little bit more. I feel like the E26 is so slept on, y'all. So I don't want to do a wing liner, but I do want a very thin line here. Look how thin this is. These are from Shiseido, and I know they are a spicy price, but they go on so smoothly and they have so much precision. 10 out of a 10, definitely would recommend. So I'm gonna take this along my lash line. I'm not gonna extend it. And I'm gonna go all the way across, and I'm gonna go find some spiky lashes. Okay, so we're gonna use these lashes, but these are the Falscara ones, and I don't use them the way they're intended. But I do like them because they're very, very, very spiky. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to apply them. I'm just going to use regular lash glue. I don't like all of the semi-permanent glues because remember, I'm doing different looks every single day. I don't have time for things to get stuck in my lashes. I don't want anything that's semi-permanent, let alone permanent, none of that. So I just love this glue. This is the Duo Line It Lash It. I have a whole lash tutorial, by the way, on my saved highlights. So check that out. I'm gonna grab some lash tweezers here. These are just called lash tweezers. So you can see small, medium, medium, large. I'm gonna start with medium. Actually, let me take out large and see what happens there. While Jean snores and serenades all of you. Yeah, I think I might stick with medium. I think we're gonna do medium. I'm just gonna put that back. They stick right back. You just put them right back. Easy peasy. Start with this one. I'm gonna put a little bit of glue on it. I don't want the outer one to curl too much, and that's what that would have done. Putting the mascara, putting the lash glue right on here. I'm gonna let it get tacky about 10 seconds. Instead of trying to place it looking straight ahead, I'm actually gonna place it turning to the side. It's actually a lot easier. That looks good. Sometimes it's best to just place it and let it get a little bit tackier on the eye and then come back and adjust it. Now I'm gonna place the small there. And then one more small right in the center of my eye. I know y'all hear that snoring. Isn't that pretty? It's just enough. So spiky. I love it. I think I'll do a white waterline. I haven't done a white waterline in a long time. Very 1960s, and I love it. So I am going to be sitting outside like I mentioned. I'm glad I mentioned that. And the humidity levels today they're disrespectful. That's exactly what they are. I'm looking for my little brush, but I'll just use this one. So I'm gonna grab, this is my most heavy duty mattifying primer. And don't let heavy duty scare you off because it's very lightweight because it's mostly skincare, and that's what I love about certain primers. But I am gonna use this one because I do not wanna sit there and get shiny. So I'm just gonna use this one in the center of my face. A little bit there, there, but not on the outer perimeter because I don't mind if that's nice and glowy. Let's use this Bosma foundation stick. Look at that matte. This is shade 023. And I'm not going for a whole lot of coverage. And I know you might be thinking, well, that's quite a bit of foundation you put on there. Well, everything's different for everyone. And you know what? That's what makes makeup fun. This brush is a prototype, but we're gonna start to work this in now. I always sit with my legs crossed, so if you see me moving around like a little wiggle worm, that's what I'm trying to do. And we'll just watch this melt in. See how pretty and blurring that is? And I don't really want a lot of coverage. I really like very light coverage with these really intense graphic eyes. I just feel like it takes it somewhere else. It takes it somewhere very editorial, pro makeup artist on set vibes, and I think that's really, really fun. Just a little bit of foundation on my forehead. And also, if you ever see that kind of color difference there, remember I wear, of course, sunscreen and I do retinol. I have my skincare routines on my saved highlights, but I have a little bit of foundation here on an E29. This is what I call my finishing brush. And we used to think that these were how you applied your eyeshadow and the only way to apply your eyeshadow, and you can. They're very nice if you're doing a very quick look, but when you're trying to get any kind of precision or a smoky eye, this was not the brush that I needed to grab. But why it is still so needed, it's wonderful for finishing. So remember, I have my foundation on this brush, and I'm gonna take it through here, melt across here. Look at how that just ties everything together. And then of course we have more precision around our brows. He's up to something again over there. I don't even want to look. I'm grabbing more foundation. Tap it across here. I'm going to go very light with my concealer today. So if I'm going to do that, I'm going to need a little bit of corrector. Exa Corrector in Peach, my favorite corrector of all time. And actually I put a little bit of extra over here, so let's grab some of that. Same E29. And what happens when you use corrector is you actually wind up using less concealer. I know, it's wild. But what happens is a lot of time our concealer isn't enough to cover and kind of transform that under eye. So we just wind up piling on more concealer thinking this is going to fix it. But if you just put the tiniest amount of corrector, you're actually going to use less concealer. I think I might actually just post that last slide as a reel. I feel like that's something that needs to be said more often. Now, I absolutely love this concealer. I was screaming, crying, throwing up, punching the air about it. This is from Make Beauty, and it's just so wonderful. It's so thin. I'll do a little bit of highlighting with it. And then I'm just gonna blend it with the same E29. See how nice that looks now? Got a little bit of a bright under eye. We'll set it in just a second, but we're gonna take our time and really work that in. Oh, you know what I forgot to do is clean up underneath my shadow wing situation. I'll do that in a second. I forgot to do that. I got too excited. By the way, if I'm doing cleanup work, I'm gonna use a pot concealer, and the reason why is because you have so much more control. And whenever you're doing any kind of cleanup work, you need control. Also, the C30, control. Because makeup can get away really quickly. This concealer is gonna go exactly where I place it. And then the C30 can just blend it out. What is this? It's Mr. Burns' hands. I am so happy the new reformulated Kylie pink powder is actually pink, because you know what? If you've been with me for a while, this was actually one of my favorite powders. Now, I'm not going to say I like it more than the Givenchy. The Givenchy's absolutely wonderful, and the price reflects that. But for how much this powder is, and I want to say it's 24 or 25. I'm going to go find out. But for the price, it is just absolutely fantastic. I mean, the puff's pretty nifty too. So we're gonna grab our Shiseido liner. I've already tagged them. If you guys miss something, remember you can always tap back. And it was linked, and then I'm just gonna extend this area. Now grab an E27, and we're gonna go in with the shade that we started with. Remember our very first transition. And we're gonna press that underneath here. And you're probably going, why are you pressing again? You know why? Because I couldn't figure out why my eyes would start to water right before I would finish my eye makeup. And it's because I was swiping and I was flipping all of that shadow. See all that? That was all flipping into my eye. And that's bad. And then my eye would water. And then everything would be ruined. It was a tough time, but you don't have to go through that. So y'all know I film like a bunch of different videos a day, but I tried this yesterday after I did my first tutorial of the day. And this is from TLB, the lip bar, but there's so much more than that. And I really liked this bronzer. It is so easy to apply. And the color, everything about it. I got excited to show y'all. I've actually had it just sitting here since yesterday. It's so pretty. And I have a red lipstick from them. I need to show y'all. I'm not going to do red with this lip, but I need to go get it. Because I tried it too. It's over there. Whew! By the way, y'all know how I love copper blushes. I don't want to wear copper with this. I want to wear pink, but look at this. It's like the perfect copper. And that's in the duo. Ah! Like I said, we're leaving that out. We'll use that again tomorrow. I'm out of control. I'm gonna do some bottom lashes. I just feel like this look needs some bottom lashes. And these are from Tati Lashes. The style is Vibe Check, and look at how tiny this little one is. Same idea, we're just going underneath my bottom lashes. And I didn't put mascara on because I just really want these to kind of be the standout, the hero, if you will. I'm gonna grab another one, and then I just put glue on it, and I'm just gonna place it. Glue, shut, let it get tacky. Make sure that we got it this way so it kind of goes down. These don't need to flip up. If I applied it like that, it would flip up. So I want to apply it down. And then if you can and you're not absolutely wild like me, please do this into a mirror and not your phone screen. Now it's definitely giving Share, and I love it. This is probably one of my favorite blushes. This is from Beauty Creations and the shade is Mood. And I'm gonna apply it really just here, very doll-like. Got a little bit more for over here. Let's do MAC lip liner in the shade Oak. And don't worry about it being perfect. You'll see why in just a second, but I do wanna kind of lay this down first. Next, I'm gonna grab probably one of my favorite super nude lips ever. This is from Dose of Colors in the shade Plush. It's just so nude. I love it. Back to our lip liner, and now we'll start to blend this together and really perfect our lip line. Now let me just go fix my hair real quickly. I'm gonna go curl these little things. Be right back. I was feeling nostalgic, so I added MAC gloss in the shade Please Me. So peachy nude. Okay, we're all finished. I am in love. Mint shadow of my makeup dreams. Now remember, I'm still gonna use this again. I'll use it again tomorrow and probably Friday. I like to use them at least 3 times in case you want to grab the palette. I don't use them going, oh my God, this is amazing. You need every single palette. But if this is something that you want to add to your collection, I want to make sure that you have plenty of inspiration. So that's what I'm doing. This is also very pretty. I love it. I love everything. I love it. Love it. So get ready for more looks with it. And I guess I will just see you in tonight's post. I love you.